Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. And what we do around here is bring about audio content for your listening pleasure on a variety of mental health, emotional health, and coaching related topics. We try to do that on a consistent basis for your listening pleasure. We've got nearly 1,000 of these available for your listening pleasure, and ultimately are going to continue to add for the benefit of your overall wellness. If you're looking at kind of breaking bad habits when it comes to your mentality, your mind stance, and the way in which you view the world, would love to be of assistance to you in that way. Please feel free to reach out. There's a couple ways to do that at PO Perception on Twitter and or in the about me section of this YouTube page. Either one will lead you into a conversation with me or a member of my team. We can easily connect on a deeper level in that manner and begin to make those connections for your benefit as often and as successfully as possible going forward into the remainder of this year and into 2022. And so would love to be of help to you if I can in any way. So what are some signs of bad mental health? The first, and this will be controversial for a lot of people, but an over-reliance on social media. Social media has become an addiction for people, and there's research and documentaries and other ways that people can get deeper into that. But suffice to say, the emotional endorphins that come through having contact on social media, having someone reply to a post or comment on a photo or get into a debate or make them feel special, and or the ability to show that you're doing better than the rest of the world can become an addiction for most people. And so the more a person spends time on social media without the quality of face-to-face relationships, or at the very least like a phone call, and there's a one-to-one personal element, emotional intimacy element to a relationship, it can lead to um, challenges as it relates to go there. So, I mean, there are definite issues, there are definite challenges there. Um, there are a number of things and a number of realities that can cause social media to become an issue for self-helps and dependence on social media. Anyway, the next kind of thing to look at there is an addiction to negativity. And when I say addiction, I really do mean you change your body chemistry based on how much negativity you let into your body, into your mind, and the people you allow around you. So if you are constantly dealing with negative situations, if you are constantly dealing with people or situations that make you feel like, hey, I'm really not getting where I want to be, or whatever the case may be, it's important to begin to understand that, in fact, these are challenges that really may not lead you exactly where you want to go, but also um, the constant negativity will have an impact on your long-term, short-term, and medium-term health, mentally and emotionally. That is to say, you are changing the neurosynaptical function in your brain if you are overly determined by or determined about or worried about, concerned with negativity from a mental and emotional health paradigm. It doesn't necessarily mean that you can't have a bad day here and there. Certainly, that's not what I'm advocating. But paying attention to your conditioning, and if you're around a constantly negative person, realizing that it is going to affect your health sooner or later, usually sooner. The next is the addiction to control. The idea that we have control over very much in our lives is reasonably limited. We do have control over, obviously, over our choices and our thoughts, but we don't necessarily have control over the things that we really that happen to us. We don't have control over what happens. We do have control over our reactions and how we interpret, how we respond, and how we behave. But oftentimes, trying to control what another person thinks, what another person feels. Look at the media. It's all about control and controlling of narrative. And so, the more a person is kind of addicted to control, the harder it is to kind of look there. It's an interesting thing. Um, So the next kind of thing to look at here, as far as that goes, is the absence of exercise and physical motion. The more sedentary a person becomes, they're actually reducing the amount of positive hormones that their body creates by being sedentary. And so there are challenges as it relates to that. Um, there are certain issues with that in a meaningful way. And so when we begin to create more physical motion, we also create the ability for our emotional state to change. The ability to learn to control one's emotional state, followed also by the ability to learn the things that trigger you to have a better mood or a worse mood, and just kind of learn your patterns is important. Looking for fighting and conflict is another main issue for people. Fighting can be physical, fighting can be emotional, fighting can be around certain topics and ideas. The entire talk radio from a paradigm of political issues is based on getting people to emotionally react, and the need or the perception that they need to fight is completely based on that. It doesn't necessarily mean that either opinion's right or wrong, but that doesn't also trigger in for most people that, hey, they're actually being controlled. So the next and final thing is, if they're not sleeping well, obviously getting appropriate rest is important from that paradigm as well. Hopefully this is helpful, and we can continue our conversation in the next audio.